Hey guys, this is Gerry O reporting for Kids First. Right now we're with the executive chef for Studio Movie Grill, Thad Kelley. How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing very well. So, first question I'd like to ask you is what's the process for making the menu? The food at these theaters are absolutely delicious, and I'd love to know from start to finish, how do you get an option on that menu?
Right, I understand. Well, thank you, first of all. Uh, Basically, it's not complicated. We just want to serve food that people just enjoy to eat. And so, whether it's a trend or we look at millennials or look at demographics as far as families coming in, or if they're coming in to see like upcoming Maleficent movie, it's like, what can we serve that those people, our guests, are going to want to enjoy while they're here? And so, it's about hospitality and what the guest wants. And so we're just really looking at that food. Sometimes it's comfort food, whether it's like the chicken tenders, of course, for kids, or pizzas or hamburgers, things of that nature. We found that a lot of comfort comes from holding the food in your hands. And so, but we do have silverware. But then we also have stuff for the parents as well, or people that are on certain dietary needs, or they live a lifestyle of vegetarian or vegan, to where we have like super green foods. We have different rices, quinoas. We have salmon. We have a grilled steak. And so we try to cater or at least have some things for everybody. But at the same time, we have our traditional wings, pizzas, burgers, and tenders and things of that nature.
For our audience who checked out the interview with Brian Schultz, they'll see him mention that there's a lot of logistics that goes into the kitchen because you're feeding a lot of people in a very quick time before the movie starts. So I'd love to know from a cooking perspective, what challenges does that bring and how have you solved it for Studio Movie Grill?
Yeah, we find out what movie is coming. So whether it's a kid movie or whether it's action adventure like Jumanji or The Rock is doing something or or a horror film, we can tell what type of food is going to be served, but just because of the type of people that come in the door. So we plan our food around that. To where if it's a lot of kids, we have shakes, and we have cookies, we have tenders and pizza and things of that nature. So we plan to make sure that we have everything as fresh as possible and ready to go, to where as soon as they come in, we're able to cook it as fast as possible and then get it to the table nice, hot, and fresh in a timely manner. So we devise a plan of different stations that can handle a little bit of this and a little bit of that, so we're not overpowering our team members, and then that way we're setting them up for success, where in turn it helps out our guests. And so basically that's it. And we try to simplify it as much as possible. We give them a lot of training materials. We give them pictures. We do videos. It's very interactive. And then we have great kitchen managers that come in and help train. And then we follow up a lot of stuff and a lot of checklists and things of that nature. So we try to keep it simple, easy to learn, and then at the same time worker friendly, the environment friendly, and then that way we can just produce a great product.
I love the psychological perspective of that. I didn't even consider that, predicting what food people want just based off the genre of the film. That's really fascinating. And in your experience with that, what do you think is overall the most popular food, and why do you think that is the most popular food?
Well, across the country, it's a little bit different. So, I mean, even we have locations in as far south as Tampa, Florida, and then we go to Chicago and Indianapolis and Philadelphia. And then, of course, we have quite a few in Texas. And so, actually, you'll see more in Texas and Houston. There's a lot more Southwest flavors involved as far as cilantros and chipotles and chips, quesadillas, and queso, and so we really get a fix on that type of food there, and we have to prepare for that. In the north, it's more of potatoes and chickens and hearty breaded chickens and burgers and things of that nature, I guess because it's cold quite often, and so those are more comfort foods. It's filling and they're hot. But in southern Florida and as well as in California, we've seen a lot more fruit, a lot more salads, a lot more people are on the go, health conscious, watching their carbs, watching, gluten's more, a lot of dairy, no, non-dairy things and stuff, no GMOs. And so we have to set us up for that as well. And so on this particular menu at Glendale, we have not only like edamame, but we have hummus with vegetables, we have fruit and cheese, we have 2 salads with steak and salmon, we have 2 bowls that we brought in, and then we have 2 wraps. And then some of our entrees are lighter entrees to where all of our flatbreads are smaller, they're on naan bread, and we only have one that has protein. And all the rest of them either have a hummus or have a curry ricotta with roasted cauliflower, or we have one with capicola and mushrooms, and that's our spin-off of sausage and mushrooms. And then, of course, avocado toast, where we have some arugula on fresh spread avocado, but it's more light, it's fresh, it's not as many calories or carbs. And so, you know, we hear the audience in California, and so we're trying to do some of that food that fits the area.
It's so interesting, and you know, you can almost tell about the region just based off the food they like. I absolutely love that, and I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this are wondering, you know, how do you get in this position as an executive chef or in culinary arts at all? So for people who are watching, what tips would you give them to get into this field?
Well, I have a passion for cooking, and you can tell I like to eat. And so I'm a person that says you have to enjoy what you're doing. And so if you're in a position and you don't like it, then change it, you know, and then start enjoying what you like. And I was fortunate enough to get, when I was, actually I started at 15, but I started at home earlier than that. And so I started cooking meals at home at 12, 13, 14. And then when I was 15, I got a professional job. And you can go to a hotel, a country club. Those are good grounds to start while you're going to high school. It's finish your education, and then you can either go to college and continue to cook, or you can go to a culinary institute. And there's lots of good tech schools that are just hotel and restaurant friendly, or you can go to a more professional one that's a little more French-based taught, that you really learn what the big guys, you know, the real chefs do. But, you know, just have a passion for it and just start learning how to cook. Now, I started taking a lot of corporate restaurants and working in the corporate atmosphere, and you have to pay your dues a little bit, but you just learn as you go, get a good mentor, and just, you know, don't show up for a paycheck, but just learn how to cook the food and really how you can get ahead. And like with studio, we have a lot of young people that take advantage of that, and they become trainers, and they're able to go across the country and see parts of the country they would have never been able to. They get promoted into management, and we've had quite a few people, even dishwashers, promoted through the kitchen, and now they're salaried kitchen managers, and then they have an opportunity to become front of the house managers or general managers. So there is a lot of movement, not only for studio, but other places. But we really teach that culture that you can get ahead and build a life with us if you have the passion. And I think that's what it comes down to, is just hard work, energy, and passion.
Well, that's very well said, and I absolutely agree. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Hey, no problem.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
All right.
For our audience, be sure to go to studiomoviegrill.com for information about where you can find a theater to try some of this delicious, delicious food that they serve here. I'm your host, Gerry O, signing off. Bye.